So I've been hearing this term lately called vibe coding, which is essentially using AI to create something that you couldn't do. Maybe you don't know programming or anything like that, and you just wanted to see what you can create. And so you just prompt it to get different things as well. I don't know if I like the term vibe coding because there is a lot that you can do that's not just vibe. Like, I don't know, that almost seems like relaxed. I'm trying not to show my age here, but there's different tools out there that allow you to create different things just by prompting, which is tremendously helpful. I have learned programming in the past. I'm not afraid of these different tools because it enables me in a lot of ways. Because even though I've learned programming, I haven't learned everything. There's a lot that you can do. I've always wanted to build different iPhone applications, or I wanted to build full-on applications, or I didn't fully know the database part of it, things like that, where these tools now enable me to do that. So I still have to be familiar enough with different components and different parts and different terms and stuff like that in order to get a really viable product that somebody else might use as well. So I still think even though you may be using AI to create some of these different tools, it is still helpful for you to be able to understand components. It's still helpful for you to understand how JavaScript and HTML work. But again, you don't need to know every little detail or have everything memorized. So I have in the past, you can check out the video from in the past, talked about a tool called Cursor. Cursor is an application that you can download and you can work and create files right on your machine. But there are other tools that are all web-based tools that allow you to, and in some ways, allow you to do the database connections and other things a lot easier. I have been working with, there's various tools like Replit and Bolt and other things like that. But one of my favorites that I've been working with since February has been Lovable. And the reason why I kind of lean more towards Lovable is because it allows me to take the code from Lovable, export it out, open it up in GitHub, open it up and adjust, even customize it inside of Cursor. So it's a little bit more flexible in my opinion. And the results actually I think are a little bit nicer too. So lovable.com, let's head on over to that. And this weekend, they're actually having a free weekend. So this video is going to come out after this weekend, unfortunately, but they're having they may do this again in the future. They give you 5 credits every day to begin with. Now, a credit is essentially a prompt. So whenever you prompt something, that will take a credit. Now, you can give it a couple different instructions in that prompt. I wouldn't go overboard because it's hard for it to interpret everything, but I wouldn't go too overboard. I mean, has been people that have detailed out a lot. So if you create bullet points and say this page does this, then you could probably get a lot inside of one prompt. But in weekends like this, you can go ahead and code all you want, but it does give you 5 prompts every single day as part of their free account. Now, you can pay. It starts at $20 a month for, at the time of this recording, I believe about 100 credits. And so every month you get 100 credits, but on top of that, you get the 5 additional credits. So that's like another 100 and something credits. So you're getting like 200 prompts throughout the month. And if you're a vibe coder, you're coding just, on the weekends or something like that, that should be plenty. So before we start creating something in Lovable first, what I want to do is show you what I have been working on. Now, one of these applications I am going to offer as part of a paid application. The other one I have not decided yet at this point, but I wanted to show you both and wanted to talk. Now, they may not be directly learning related. I know most of my channel is learning development related, but I have been playing around with the idea of just creating a kind of like a vibe coder type of channel where you're using AI to create various different customization, whether it be apps or the websites or full-on prompts or something like that. So I do want to hear from you. If you're interested in something like that, go ahead and head on over to my YouTube channel, or if you're watching this on a blog post, head down to the bottom of the blog post and let me know if you'd be interested in this kind of vibe coding channel where it's all focused on that. Okay, enough of that. Let's go ahead and dive in. I want to show you some of these examples that I built in Lovable. It's a full-on application. This one is a to-do list. I love different tasks lists. I'm a nerd like that, but there's some things about some of the task lists that I've used, and I won't name names, but I want to add timestamps and other things like that. So I've been working on this since February of this to-do application, and you can sign up for it. Again, not at the website above, but you will eventually be able to sign up for this if you're interested. And you can integrate databases, you can integrate Stripe for payments, you can integrate ChatGPT, so you can implement your own type of AI as well. There's a lot that you can do here. So this project management tool allows you to create projects on the left-hand side here, and you can create a project and upload a cover image. That then basically shows as part of your My Projects, and it shows on the left-hand side here. Now I can then minimize and I can expand this project window on the side, and it will list all of my different projects. Now up here in my profile, this is where I can manage subscription. So whenever I'm actually prompting this kind of stuff, I have to tell it, okay, I want to create a login. In that login, I want you to create a paid account. I want you to prompt them to open up Stripe. And there's different things that when you're working with that you'll have to implement in order for it to work. You want to have a sign out button. Initially, when I said you create a login and I logged in, there was no way to sign out. So I had to prompt a way to sign out. So you're little by little actually prompting the application to do this. Now implement that, now do this. Create a project window that expands. Initially, I didn't have a way for me to be able to collapse it. Or when I actually refreshed, it didn't stay collapsed. So those were things that I had to prompt of like, keep this open or expand that. Or even if the learner hits refresh, then make sure that that stays open there. So those are things that I'm trying to point these out to help you know the kind of prompts that you can do to get this type of functionality. Now, inside of my project window, this is where I started to create a project list. And that is pretty easy to do inside of Lovable. You can just say, give me a project list or a task list here. But I wanted to expand upon that. So little by little, I started adding priorities. I started adding statuses as well. So a backlog status. I started adding notes. I started adding attachments. I started adding due dates or focus on. So those are things that inside of the task I will edit, but then I wanted to visually show it on side of the task. And so little by little, I started prompting, okay, now add a star button when focus on today is actually clicked. Then it would add a little star icon. Now, if you click on any of these tasks, this is where you'll see like the title. So I can edit the title. You can edit the description. You can edit the due date, the priority. So you can select the priority to be something else, which will then reflect on the task. You can say, okay, do I want to focus on today? But this is really the crucial part of what I wanted to create was the progress notes, because even though I'm creating on a task, I want to have time-stamped notes of what I did in that day. So I could come in here and say, I worked on this, click on add a note, and now it has a timestamp. Now, even though when I prompted it, I basically said in the edit task window, add the ability to add notes that would then add a timestamp to those notes and allow me to add more notes, but also allow me to delete the notes, which then added this delete button. You need to think through it visually a little bit. You could upload wireframes and you can say, this is how I want it to work. And then it would visually add, go from there. And that does help. But if you don't have wireframes, that's okay. You can still prompt that. And then another prompt was, I want to be able to add attachments. So I can take a screenshot, drag it into here, and then I can download it. So that was as simple as inside of the edit task modal, I want to be able to add attachments that I can download and add several attachments. And then add a save task, delete task as well. And then this is what I want to get to in a little bit. I'm going to come back to that part here. And that started to add my task list. But then I prompted, say, okay, I wanted to be able to reorder that task list. And so it's just little by little, these different prompts. And as you start to work through it and you start to use this, you'll notice that like, hey, in my task list, I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to format, and this was an additional one. I want to be able to format my text. It's a lot to go over in just a YouTube type of video. But if you're interested in that, again, let me know if you would like to see something that works through these types of projects on another YouTube channel. And you can say due date priority, you can add that here. But I also wanted the ability to add analytics. So in the analytics, you can see how it all animates in. Initially, it didn't animate in. When I said, oh, I want to have an analytics modal that shows like project completion, shows active tasks by category, by priority, or by status, those are different things. And this was one I just did last night, add the print capability so it would print it. And this is things that I had to work through step by step. Again, I've been working on this since February. The time of this recording, it's June. So it's been quite the journey to be able to do this. You're not going to just do this all in one day, essentially. But on top of that, one of my favorite applications is Trello. So I wanted to be able to create, based on the status, I wanted to be able to create a Kanban board. If you're not familiar with Kanban boards, it's just a way to have different columns here. So now this is a different view. I can do a list view or I can do a Kanban board view. And then I basically just drag and drop that into a new status there, and then it updates the status right there. So pending means that I've done the work for it and it's just pending kind of a release or something like that. And then once I mark it as complete, so if I come in here and mark it as complete, it will move it down to my completed tasks down at the bottom. Think through it step by step. Think through it. Okay, let's just focus on the analytics. Let's just focus on this. Now, in this past week, I have implemented some AI. So you can implement and integrate ChatGPT into your applications as well. So one thing I wanted to do as I'm creating a task, come in here, build a website. What this generate with AI will do is it'll take the title, and this is how I had to prompt it. Okay, use the title as part of your input to generate a description for the task. Now, if I click on generate with AI, it's gonna pop open a description based on the task right here. Build a website by first defining the project scope and so forth. I can try again if I wanted to generate something else, or I can just click use. And then if I already have it generated or just generate a few things, you can click on edit with AI and it will take what's currently in the title and description and then prompt something different as well. So that is just one little AI implementation. I plan to use a lot more. The one that I implemented a couple days ago was like, what if I wanted to create a bunch of tasks? So if I wanted to say task 1 and then task 2, task 3, this was inspired by the Rise AI assistant where you could actually just create text there and it would create an interactive block for you. You can check out a video here too. And it was inspired by that now I can go ahead and click on create tasks, or I can click on generate more AI. So based on what I've done, are there other tasks that I'm not thinking about? So that's another way to do that. But if you wanted to add something in the description, you just add a dash. This is in the description and so forth. So now if I click on create tasks, it will add tasks and then it will add that description if I add a dash there. I didn't touch any of this code. This is all through prompting and various stages of prompting as well. Now, if I wanted to come back in here and add a task, then let's actually come back into my AI tool up here. If I say task 1, task 2, I can click on generate more tasks with AI, and then it will prompt me with different possibilities. And I can say, well, don't do that one, do that one. And then it will add all of those tasks. So I'm able to take advantage of AI to be able to create something like this. This is huge. And this, I do plan on actually selling this one. But I wanted to show you that before we dive into Lovable here, I wanted to show you a different application that I've been working on personally because I have been tracking my finances. And this started years ago when I wanted to get out of debt. I've been tracking my finances. So on this one, I'm not sure if I'm going to sell it or not. But this allows me to create like different analytics. This is really not my income or anything like that. This is dummy data, so don't worry. But if you come in here, you can go into like, okay, what's my current money in checking and savings? It doesn't unfortunately pull that in automatically. I haven't integrated that with like APIs out there for banking. Not ready to go down that step yet. But you can add income where you can say, okay, here's my next income. You can say, okay, what debt am I working on? What's my monthly expenses and if they're paid for the month or not. So to keep track of that, of what's remaining, what total annual. And this is something that I really wanted to do was like, okay, I'm paying $20 a month, but I wanted to also reflect the annual amount. So I know really annually, how much am I paying for this? So that's something that I implemented just by a prompt. And then I wanted, okay, well, I have this in checking, I have this in savings. I do need to pay this off. Here's my debt. And so I create a plan, this allocation plan of like, I'll pay this, I'll pay that, and so forth. And just by one little implementation, one prompt, I was able to create a calculator. So now I can come in and say 9 times 6, and then instead of having to pull up a calculator, I have it right there where I can just copy, paste it right into whatever plan that I'm doing. So those are 2 examples. I wanted to, in this video, I'm not going to get into actually full application prompting. We can pull up one here. So this is a previous one. I'm going to go ahead and log in. Okay, so let's go into our tasks here. And this is my task 1. And I wanted to show you a little bit of what you've seen in the past, or a little bit of my history as well. So I'm going to log in. And this is the Lovable part, where it has the ability to publish or to upgrade, to connect to GitHub if you wanted to, and you can test it out as you're starting to prompt. Now over on the left-hand side, you can give it prompts of what you want it to do. And it's still loading kind of my history here. I think because it's the free weekend, there's a lot of people trying it out right now. But you can also click on your AI. Do you choose OpenAI, Google, if you wanted to use a Gemini, and then also if you wanted to chat, because each prompt does take up one of your tokens, the chat does not. So you can actually chat through and come up with an implementation plan. Before you start to prompt it, you can just chat with it and say, I want it to do that. I want it to do this. Make sure that we do this. And then it's going to walk you through step by step. But you'll notice right here, things where I'm like, for the code, I got an error. So it just walks me through on how to fix the error. Right here under the text entry, change text entry. I want each one to be a separate line. So this is when I was working through the API, and this is when I was working through the AI function as well. So that is how you start to prompt there. Let me go back here and let me go back to my dashboard and let's prompt something real quick. So let's create a new project here. Even if you're not going to do full applications, you could still have it be something like a portfolio. I want a portfolio page with a banner that has my name, and then give it the name, centered in the banner. Use an image in the background that represents something techie, and below the banner have 2 rows of cards that show previous projects and button to view project. Also have a contact section and a footer. So I'm defining just kind of the general view of this, and then I'm going to hit enter. Now it's going to spin up my project. So it's going to walk me through exactly what the plan is, and it's going to tell me step by step what's happening. If it's a database, it will say, hey, you need to connect with this, or you need to connect with Supabase or some other type of database, and it will walk you through exactly what needs to happen. If it's something like integrating AI, it will tell you what to do to go, get this key or secret or anything else that it needs in order to run. So it gives you instructions there. So right here, okay, do I need to connect to Supabase? No, not at this point. And you can see there is my name up on the top. There's my previous projects. I probably want to add like an image to each of those. Here's my contact, and here's a footer down below. Let's add something else. Let's say have the banner take up the full screen and then animate in the projects as I scroll down. So I'm just prompting little by little. Now that I have the structure, let's tweak this. Let's center things. Let's add images to our projects. And that's how you're prompting, just little by little, step by step. So now it's taking up the full screen. In this view, it kind of looks a little weird, but that's fine. But as you can see, as I start to scroll down, it animated in my different projects. Now let's say add images, various images to my projects, project cards, show those on top, and center the text and button. Now I could even say something like, okay, create a login, create an admin login that would allow me to change some of this text, on the fly. Because it can build full applications, that is something that you can do. I am just getting you started with creating just like a basic web page here. So you can see there is our image. I may want to have this kind of like take up the full screen and not just be like a little box like that, but you can see like little by little, I'm starting to improve this. I can then come in and say, okay, we'll add some description text below previous projects. I can then ask it to connect like a database or something to my messages. Those are things that you can do. Step by step, little by little, you can build full applications like I showed you with the project management tool. I showed you with the finance tool as well. Hopefully that gives you some examples and at least prompts you, see what I did there? Prompts you to actually go into Lovable or Replit or Bolt or anything like that and start creating your own applications. If you like this video, head on over to my YouTube channel, click the like button, subscribe to my channel, as well as hit the bell notification so you get notified of all future videos as they come out. That really helps my channel, allows my channel to continue to grow, so really help learning developers get the most out of these different various tools. If you want to check out more, head on over to my website at learningdojo.ninja. You can check out full courses covering everything from A to Z in Storyline, JavaScript and Storyline, XAPI fundamentals, Articulate Rise, Custom SCORM as well. You can check out all my previous blog posts covering anything AI related, including the cursor application. You can check out Storyline as well. I am currently working on a course which you can get early bird access on using the AI assistant in Articulate Storyline. That's all I have for today, so thanks everyone, and I'll see you next time.